Hi, I'm Danielle Gagne from Commercial UAV News, and today I'm delighted to introduce Soonsuk Roh, Business Development Manager at Doosan Mobility. Hi, Soonsuk.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So my first question for you today is, how did Doosan get started?
Yeah, it's a complicated question because Doosan Group itself is about 100-year-old company. It's a huge group doing lots of things like heavy industries, like construction equipments, lots of things. And if you are very interested in baseball, Doosan actually owns a baseball team, and it was live casted in the United States a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, it's a large group, but Doosan Mobility Innovation. How we got started was we acquired two fuel cell companies at 2015, one from United States and one from Korea, and that's how Doosan Group got technology of fuel cell. But those companies focused on fuel cell system for buildings or power plants, and we kind of thought we could like make a smaller fuel cell system for mobility application, and that's how Doosan Mobility Innovation got started. So we developed a smaller fuel cell system, and we targeted drone as our first application. So that's how we started.
So what is a hydrogen fuel cell, and how does it compare to other types of fuel cells on the market for drones, and what are its benefits?
What hydrogen fuel cell is it's an opposite way of electrolysis, if you're familiar with that one. So if you put electricity on water, the water gets divided into hydrogen and oxygen. So we convert the direction of the process. So we combine hydrogen and oxygen. It will produce water and electricity, and that's how we produce electricity. And hydrogen is the main fuel we need, and oxygen is in the air. So that's how we combined it together. And what it is different with other fuel cells is, like I mentioned earlier, so most of the fuel cell system, they focus on buildings and power plants. And the first fuel cell that was commercialized was the one that was in Apollo. The rocket went to the moon. So that was the first use case of fuel cell, which was like decades ago. And we use that technology for the backup power in the buildings or energy system in the power plants. What we do it is we made it smaller and we made it lighter, and we used an air cool system to make it like much more lighter to get integrated on the drone. So because drone, it needs a lighter system. So that's the difference. And the benefits is of course the energy density. So compared to conventional battery drones, which only could have flow flight for 20, 30 minutes, our using our hydrogen fuel cell, you can fly your drone for 2 hours, and yeah, that's the main benefit.
That's incredible. And so it sounds like one of the biggest challenges is trying to get that hydrogen-based fuel small enough and compact enough for it to get on a drone. Can you tell me about what some of the challenges in designing that was for Doosan?
Yeah, so the strength of fuel cell, it like strength of fuel cell gets bigger and bigger when the system is bigger and bigger. So making smaller and lighter was the main challenge, of course. And most of the materials used for like fuel cell is metals, so it's not light at all. And we had to use a high pressure hydrogen gas, which was also the challenge because to develop the cylinder of the hydrogen, it has to have the safety certification, and to do that, it had to have lots of safety like equipments, which makes it heavier again, and the regulations for it. And that was the main challenges we had.
This kind of goes to my next question. How reliable and safe is it to use hydrogen as a fuel for drones? I know a lot of people think about some other uses of hydrogen and may ask that question.
And so we are aware that people are afraid of hydrogen, as like the first thing that comes in mind when you hear hydrogen is hydrogen bomb. So, but actually hydrogen is not that dangerous thing. So it is the lightest air on Earth. So whenever there's a crack on cylinder, it just flies away in the air. So, but still, we are aware that people are afraid of hydrogen. So what we did was we did lots of tests. So we did 150 meter, about like 500 feet. So we dropped the cylinder. We drop the power pack. We drop drone with the power pack with the cylinder 500 feet above. We put the hydrogen cylinder in the flame. We did some gunshot test on the cylinder, and that's all in our outdoor demo videos that you can actually see it for a short time. So we did all kind of those tests, and we got the certification for it. So we're pretty sure it's gonna be safe. So I hope people won't be too afraid of hydrogen anymore.
Hope so too, and I'm looking forward to that. And for the flying outdoor demo that was just brought up, that will be September 15th at our Commercial UAV Expo event. So my next question for you is, you just released the latest update on your hydrogen-powered multi-copter drone, the DS30. Can you talk about some of the newest features, what they offer the customer, and how this compares to the previous version?
Yeah, so we used the new flight controller, the commercial Pixhawk to our DS30. The basic difference is just the flight controller, but the main difference is how we use the LTE communication system in our power pack. So with our previous flight controller, the LTE modem was just used for monitoring our power pack system, monitoring the status of hydrogen fuel and our system. But by using Pixhawk as our flight controller, now you can use LTE communication for actual controlling of the drone. So we are releasing with our new software too, which is called DMI View Web GCS, Web Ground Control System. So you can log in to our ground control system wherever you are, and you can remotely give mission to the drone wherever it is. So that is going to be the newest feature we are providing. And of course, it relates to your next question, but you can now connect new payloads since we are using another flight controller now.
So what kind of payloads can the DS30 carry?
Yeah, so our previous flight controller, they limited their connection of the payloads to their own sensors. Now you can actually connect all kind of sensor. We cannot define the limit of the payload. So if you want to use your payload, if it can be communicated with your own onboard system or Pixhawk flight controller, then you can connect it with our drone. So like we are doing lots of tests now. We are doing avoidance sensors to our drone, LiDAR, of course, multi-spectrum camera, of course, air sensors too, and wind speed sensors, like all kind of payloads can be connected to our drones. Yeah.
Fantastic. And roughly, what is the impact of payload weight on that 2-hour flight time?
50 minutes or 20 minutes of flight time is a huge impact on conventional battery drones, but for our drone, without payload, it can fly for 2 hours. With maximum payload, which is about 10 pounds, it flies about 1 hour 45 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't give much of the impact to the payload. Yeah.
And who can most benefit from the DS30, and what applications is it best suited for?
Yeah, so since our drone can fly 2 hours, which means it can go further than I think conventional drones, we target for people who needs to inspect large areas or long areas. We call it linear inspection. If you want to inspect like railroads, pipeline, or transmission lines, that would be a great application. Or a large space, you have a large farm or large power plants, and that would be another application that would be great to use our drone. And another one is we are very interested in search and rescue applications too, because sometimes you need to fly drone for a very long time to search someone or some things like bushfires. So that will be another great application for our drone.
And if someone would want to know more about the DS30 or want to collaborate with you as an OEM, what is the best place to start?
For United States, so we have our dealer partners in the United States. They're going to have their own presentation at our power hours. You can join if you're interested, and you can first call them like for the next discussion, or you can always contact us directly using our website, www.doosanmobility.com, or our SNS. We have our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or LinkedIn. So you can always contact us directly.
Thank you so much for joining me today. The flight time is just incredible. We're always looking for ways that we can keep those drones up in the air.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.